Hello, everyone. Welcome to another day of our Fireside Pilates chat series. As you know, October at Tuckets is the month of Pilates, and we are very happy to have today Rebecca Beckler. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing right, is her name. Rebecca will be here very soon with us, and she will tell us all about passing from being a Pilates instructor to running her own business and reinventing her business. I see her here. She's joining soon. We're going to wait. It takes, I think, a tiny bit.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you today?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I'm excited. This is going to
Perfect.
be fun.
Yes, thank you for being here with us. As I mentioned before, it's very informal, but at the same time, the whole idea is for you to share a bit of your story and become an inspiration for many of us that are there trying to run our business or, overcome certain challenges.
Right.
So I always like when, my guests introduce themselves. So
Okay.
can you please tell us who Rebecca is?
Okay. Well, hi, everyone. Thanks for joining our fireside chat. I love that name. And I'm Rebecca Beckler. I'm the creator of the Pilates suspension method. I'm a mom of two. I'm also an instructor trainer for Stop Pilates in the mat and reformer. And I'm happy to be here this afternoon just to share a little bit of my story and maybe encourage you guys with your journey, if it's Pilates or fitness or whatever it may be.
Great. And then let's jump into the first question, Rebecca. So I read that you have been active since you have memory, basically.
Yeah.
And then I also read that actually you went to university and you did adult fitness, which is amazing because many of the Pilates or fitness instructors I met, their path to fitness has been very different. And for you, it seems like it has been very clear from the beginning. And then of all the workouts that you try, especially training as an adult fitness professional, why did you choose Pilates?
Yes, so I've always been very active. My favorite subject growing up was PE. That came natural to me, not so much of where to put the commas in English class, but PE was where I excelled and what I loved. And so when I got my degree in adult fitness, and then I became, right after college, I moved to Atlanta. My older sister was living there, and she said, "Oh, you got to come here. Fitness is huge. There's 50 million 20-year-olds. You'll love it." So I became a ACE certified personal trainer. And then a couple of years, I guess I was there on and off for about 2.5 years. And my dream from a little girl was always to move to California. I grew up in Alabama. And so, growing up in the South, you want to go and be like a California girl. That song, I think Van Halen sings that song, like California Girl. So I wanted to be a California girl. So I moved to California and I worked at a women's gym. I always loved working with women as I was the personal training manager. And there was one reformer in the corner of the gym floor. And there was one Pilates instructor. Her name was Judy. She was Stop Pilates certified. And she was like, "Oh, Rebecca, I would love to put you on a little workout on the reformer." And I remember it was like a Friday late afternoon. I was like, "Yeah, I'd love that." She put me through about 45 minutes. I got off. I remember the last exercise we did was like single thigh stretch. I got off and I was like, "I'm sold. I've got to become a Pilates instructor." I felt like I was walking on clouds. I was always like lifting weights and doing body sculpting, teaching body sculpting classes, but it was just something about Pilates. And luckily I found that in 2002. And that was the boom of Pilates when they had just passed the lawsuit that anyone could use the name Pilates.
Mhm.
So in Southern California, I mean, it was huge, and they were dying for Pilates instructors. So I went through an in-house certification, very traditional, from a girl that learned from Ramana. And I was just lucky at 23 to just be at this gym and, want to, be with Judy. And, then after a couple years or after about a year or so after I got certified, I just loved Judy's style through Stop Pilates. And so I went through the whole Stop Pilates training up at John Geary Fitness and Pilates Studio. That was
Yeah.
in Long Beach, and I was in Dana Point. So it just kind of, I was saying it was meant to be, God just aligned me to move out to California at the right time, work at this gym at the right time. So, and then I was addicted. I actually stopped doing weights and just did Pilates for 15 years or so. And, had my own studio for about 5.5 years. And yeah, I feel very fortunate to have found it at a young age. But you know what? I talk to, people all the time that found it later on in life, as a student, and then they became an instructors, at 40 or 50. So, it's definitely one of those things. You can always reinvent yourself, and it's never too late you love going to classes, become an instructor, right?
Yeah.
I just
And
love that anyone can do it. Anyone can teach it. Yeah.
and your story is amazing because actually I was before in foreign affairs, nothing to do with fitness. And then when I moved to LA from London and I discovered Pilates, and this is when the idea of the Talkets came.
Yeah.
And it was about that foot brain connection, that core connection, and in Pilates, especially in reformers, is really special.
Yeah.
This is great. And then, so you went from being an instructor to own your own Pilates studio, and then you created the Pilates suspension method. And
Yeah.
then, so I would like to know a bit the story behind
Yeah.
how was that the Pilates suspension method born?
So like I had mentioned, I had a little teeny tiny studio, Pilates studio, and it was in Laguna Niguel, California.
Mm-hmm.
And I had about 30 clients that came like 5 days a week consistently. And, but I was always wanting to keep it fresh. And I was hearing about these straps. This was, about, I don't know, 10 years ago. And one of my friends up in LA, she was using them at her studio, but in a fitness way. And I was like, well, let me just go take a little 6-hour course, figure out how to adjust it. And so I did. And, I learned how to squat and lunge and adjust the straps and do some planks. But that workshop was like, wow, well, that's good for fitness, but it's amazing for Pilates, and being me, I have to try things out for about a month or so before I would introduce them to my
Mm-hmm.
clients. So I got a strap, I hung it up, and I started playing around with it. And then I was like, wow, this is great. So I started just sprinkling it in with my clients. I would do, say, standing footwork or second position standing, single leg standing. And then we would get on the reformer and do our 100 feet and straps, go through our kind of normal reformer workout. And then when it was time to get up during a transition to maybe grab the box, then, hey, let's do another little series on the straps, maybe standing mid-back series. We just did it on the reformer laying down. How about we make it a little more functional or athletic and stand? So we did that for about a year, and I kept a little notebook and wrote down the exercises. Some worked out, some didn't. It's always trial and error. And then after that first year, I had a couple clients that came up to me and said, we would love this. And we would love a whole class of this. I was like, oh, you would? And so it really started with just something I wanted to spice up give them some more options. I definitely was using it a lot for my early morning clients. You know, the last thing they need to do is lay down on a reformer because they just woke up, you know?
Right.
You know, and I always say their pants are on backwards, their shirt's on inside out, and they still have sleepies in their eye. And then you want them to lay on the reformer. Let's bring the reformer vertical and let's do footwork in second position. Let's really warm up, an active warm up. Then we can, you know, go into our regular equipment exercises that we love. So it was really just something that happened organically. You know, I do like being creative, but in a safe and effective way. And I was seeing, even with just sprinkling in a few little things after the first month, that not only their core was stronger, but their scapula stabilization. They had more awareness because using the straps to kind of push into as a tactile cue to really engage the scapula stabilizers, you know, which is a huge thing, scapula stabilization and movement in Pilates, but that can be kind of a mystery to some of our beginner clients and even some of our long-term clients. It's hard to get that mind-muscle connection to those small muscles around the shoulder blades. So I really felt like, oh, we do it standing, you push into the handles or the foot cradles. And so after a month of sprinkling it in, I was noticing that their regular equipment Pilates was smoother, more fluid. And I was like, oh, they're getting that mind muscle connection. So it was really just something that I thought was cool for my clients. And then, you know, at the same time, my daughter, she got leukemia at 2.5. And so I used to stay after my clients and do my 1.5-hour workout, you know, and she'd be at daycare and then I'd pick her up at 3. Well, when my daughter got sick, it was like, I had to pack everyone in 3 or 4 hours and then take her up to whatever treatment she had that day. So it was a way for me to still do my favorite equipment exercises, but at home on the strap. So, you know, it was out of necessity for me keeping up with my practice and my favorite, you know, we all love feet and straps, right? You guys all love feet and straps on the reformer, but, you know, we don't have the money or the room to have a reformer in our house. Most people don't. So feet and straps PSM style is definitely doable, you know, so it was definitely something to add to my clients, but also for my own practice when my daughter was sick. But she's been in remission for 6 years now.
Great.
Praise God. She's wonderful. And she's like already coming up with PSM exercises for the next generation. She's like, Mom, what do you think about this one? So
how old is she now?
It's really fun that it just kind of happened organically, you know, just something cool for my little bubble, my little world. And then
it started to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah.
How old is your daughter now?
She is 11.
11.
She got leukemia at 2.5 and then went through treatment for about 3 years. So that was tough. But you know what? Pilates was my saving grace. You know, I would throw on Christian contemporary music. I would do it on the straps or the reformer. And that was even if it was just 20 or 30 minutes, you know, that kind of mind muscle connection, just kind of being one with myself during that crazy time, stressful time. It was a definitely stress reliever. I mean, I think Pilates is definitely a saving grace for me.
And it's amazing because out of these challenges that life throws, something good came up, right? Because I guess your businesses start evolving and also being more independent and not just relying on the studio.
Right. Yeah.
And then all businesses have challenges, right? It's never an kind of an easy straight road. There is the ups and downs and the curves. And then so if you can share with us maybe 1 or 2 challenges that you know, like the main ones and how you have overcome them, and you share a big one that has been.
I think kind of having a clear plan, you know, and I have all these ideas and I want to do this and that, but you need to kind of set a clear plan and you know, kind of stick with that. And it's a lot of, you know, my friends that are like, how do you do it all? It's like, you know what, hardly watch TV. You know, I'm old school. I have my old school planner right here, all highlighted up. And it's just setting your day, right? And setting your priority, and leaving out the trash. You know, I don't need to watch TV, or we don't even have cable. So it's just kind of, you know, setting a game plan, staying focused, and trying to have that balance. And I think the balance of, you know, being a mom and being a businesswoman as well, and trying to grow my business, that is a balancing act, you know. So I think that is the best challenge. And at first I was doing everything on my own. I'm kind of a lone ranger, you know, and I hate to ask for help. But, you know, my good friend Monica was like, I was traveling like 6 weekends in a row teaching workshops. And this was about maybe 2.5 years ago. And she was like, you know, if you ever need any help, you know, she's a certified Pilates instructor, but she was also a student of mine. I was like, maybe I could train you to teach some of these courses. So it was allowing myself to be open for help, because, you know, you can't do it alone.
Yeah.
So at all. So, you know, that was a thing that was very, I think it was the stepping off point to grow my business, is to allow some people in, you know, because I was like, oh no, yeah. It's hard to like release control.
Right, because it's a baby. And then, I mean, and I totally understand you, because I went through exactly the same. The first years of Talkets, it was a one-woman show. Now I have a team that is great. And but is delegating is a whole new step for small business owners. And as you grow, well, you need to hire, as Sarah Blakely say, you need to hire your weaknesses, right?
Yes.
Well, this is great. These fireside chats are so short, and I know we have so much to talk. I want to ask you one more question. Given the current situation, and that many studios are closed, or they cannot have the same number of students for safety reasons, I know there are many Pilates instructors and studio owners transitioning from in studio to online. And if you can give 1 or 2 tips of, you know, how to work on that transition, even one tip that can help, I'm sure, many of your followers as well, and ours.
Yeah. That was a big thing. I'm not tech savvy. My husband isn't. So I have no one to turn to, you know, but really it doesn't have to be perfect. You know what? Your clients just want to work out with you because they love you as an instructor. They don't care if your backdrop is not pretty, right? Or maybe you might be a little glitchy every once in a while. They just want to work out with you, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, it was when COVID happened, I had a backdrop sitting in a box for a month. And I was like, I guess I got to pull it out. I don't even know how to put this up. And then I have a girl that is on my team that kind of helps me with my website. And I was like, can you just do a call with me and tell me how to do Zoom, the basics, right? I don't need, and you know, now fast forward 6 months, I feel like I'm good at Zoom. I know how to record it. I can send it, but it's like, you got to just jump in. Don't worry if it's not perfect, but your clients want to just work out with you, and we're all in this together. So just jump in there and do it. You know, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. Sometimes perfection is an obstacle, and then good enough is what makes us move forward. And
yes,
a great advice. Thank you so much for that advice. I have 2 more questions very quickly, and those are the questions I ask everyone. And is, who do you admire, or who is your inspiration, and why?
My inspiration is God. Like, he gives me all these ideas and direction, And really what started growing my business is when I prayed about every business decision. Because at first I was like holding on to my business. Oh, this is my little thing. No, but, with going through obstacles, I was like, you know what? I've got to pray about it. And then I make a decision, and that's what really has guided me and helped me and is definitely my biggest inspiration.
Right. And then that, to me, that's related to asking. Like, for me, it's like one of the things I learned running my business is about how important it's always to ask. And it can be asked to whoever you believe, the universe, or even other people around, right? Thank you. And then, so what do you think of your feet? Is my next question. Like, do you like your feet? And I ask this question because we have discovered like 65% of the people we ask, they don't like their feet. There is always an issue with their feet. 35% they do, but I'm curious. What is your relationship with your own feet?
I like my feet. I need a pedicure right now, and it's on my schedule book for tomorrow. But the reason I like my feet because it keeps me moving, and feet, it all is like our base. It's our foundation, in our Pilates, any sort of fitness that we're doing. I've recently started on this ballroom journey, stepping out of my comfort zone, and it's all from the feet. So I'm blessed. Yeah,
this is great because pockets and the whole idea of free toes is for us to have that real contact and to be aware of our feet, and to know that our feet are the root of our body. And strong feet, it means a strong body, strong mind.
Yes.
Rebecca, this has been great, and I hope to have you again in the future. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you guys.
And then thank you everyone for watching. And if you're watching in the future, let us know if you have any questions. Oh, yes, one last question, Rebecca. If someone wants to start working out with you, or joining your Pilates suspension method, where can they find you?
So you can find me super easy website, Pilates949.com. And, I have my Pilates suspension method. All courses are now all virtual. And they're live though, so it's interactive. I have an app with Pilates, with fitness, and I'm just about to release, I was working on it right before our talk, is a Pilates 949 virtual studio. So it's going to be reformer, chair, PSM, mat work, but all kind of my athletic-y style. So that should be coming. But that's all on my website, Pilates949.com. I try to really give you as much, options to fit your budget and your style. Like if you want to just do an app, or if you want to do it when I'm cueing out loud, or if you want to do a course or a class. So I try to do, and everything's, virtual now. Which is great.
This is great. And this is, as you can see, Rebecca keeps, reinventing herself and giving even more options to all of you. Rebecca, thank you so much. I love you. I love to have you, and I look forward to keep, talking to you.
Thank you for having me, and thanks everyone that joined.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye.